welcome to IMAGI-NATION TV, week 21, episode 98. We've been joined by some rockstar mentors for our We Imagine Hoodie Day 10 special. I'm Letitia Clark. I'm a Thursday Islander from the Torres Strait Islands, and I'm a Year 12 student at Miami State High School. What I imagine within the next 10 years to help us all create a fairer world would be education. Not only free and accessible education for everyone, but also truthful education about different people's experiences in the world so people can understand and help in a way. Today, I want to see what's happening all over the world. Now over to you, Jack.
Letitia, I love that vision. Let's do that together.
Yeah.
I was saying to you in the pre-call that we've got this university we're looking to open next year, and we're going to have presidents of IMAGI-NATION who are university students around the world organising change to do that very thing, to try and build a bridge between uni students and kids who they might not meet usually, to try and work out, how do we understand each other when we come from different worlds? And then let's make sure that no kid gets left behind with education and that we have that framework. So make sure you put your application in for that one. We'll see if we can see you on the other side of it. How are you feeling about hosting today?
A little bit nervous, but I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, we've got heaps of stuff happening. This is our last show of 98 in a row. So we've done 98 shows on IMAGI-NATION TV. And we've been pumped to travel around the world, to have 440 guests. There's been over 20,000 views on all the episodes. We've been to over 100 different schools to drop in the Magic School Bus. We've had all of these different experiences and ways of engaging with kids, including presidential speeches, having live students in the live audience. So today we've got Bliss and Claire with us. Are you there, Bliss and Claire, the live audience?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. Throw your comments in along the way. Emily's there as well. Emily, what's imagination?
Imagination is like your wildest thought, something that comes to your brain. Something that comes to your brain and the way you think of something differently. Yeah,
I love that definition. Unreal. Today we're celebrating the 10th birthday of this hoodie. And the theme this year is the world that we imagine together and what we want to build over the next 10 years. So we've gone for it in the last 2 weeks and looked at the really big picture things that we want to imagine together. One of those is we want to imagine a world where we've cracked the code on fashion and we've tried to be able to create less waste. And one specific area we're looking at, which we really want to play with people around, is could we build a brick out of clothing, out of all the waste at the end of the line? And maybe we could work with some of those places that are going to be affected by rising sea levels to see if we could lift up some of those areas by clothing bricks. Maybe we could build little Versailles around the world. We imagine a university that's Imagination University that gives people the chance to come in, be trained by imagination, and then be powered by unlikely networks. So you've got a group of 10 working together in a tutorial group. We've got a 7-year-old Nigerian kid kicking it with a billionaire from the United States, kicking it with a teacher from Germany, kicking it with a young university student who's an entrepreneur, and all working together to try and create a fairer world and create change along the way. What we're trying to do here is to give the stage for people that are often left out and to rip the door off its hinges and let people come through who traditionally wouldn't be let into the room. And what we think, for example, with the university is no one owns higher order thinking. With 3% of the population in Africa having the chance to be able to go to the university, only 30% of the population in Australia go to university. What we see is that there's 70, 80, 90, 95% of people around the world who have been locked out of higher order thinking at times. And we want to try and bust open the fear about intelligence, about coming together with complexity and working together and trying to build this world. So lots of big things. Today's Hoodie Day. Let's go to a video from some of our friends.
Hello world, do you know what time it is?
Happy 10th annual AIME Hoodie Day.
Happy Hoodie Day, obviously an anniversary.
Happy AIME Hoodie Day 10.
Happy 10 Hoodie Day, AIME.
Happy Hoodie 10.
Happy Hoodie Day to AIME.
Happy AIME Hoodie Day 10.
We imagine. Yes, we do imagine.
We imagine a world where the most remote communities with kids who have the least access to education start to access it and start to enjoy learning.
10 years from now, I want to see all young people healthy in mind, body and spirit.
We imagine a world where kids are given the opportunity to imagine and come up with different solutions the world is facing.
My dream is for my son Wilbur to be able to be whoever he wants to be and do whatever he wants to do, regardless of being a male or female or being Aboriginal or not.
To be clear about who they are and where they fit in with their families, the communities and the wider society. To be confident and proud.
I believe young people have the power to change, and in the next 10 years, I want to see young people in the position of power so that they can make such changes.
I seriously cannot wait for all those kids to go out there and achieve their wildest dreams.
What can we all do to make the world a fairer place? Forgiveness, love, create an environment where we all can express our feelings and we can go back to being the world that we know we can be.
Encourage people to imagine, to think of something in your head and make it possible practically.
Because we know that there are people coming behind us that would inherit this world. So be more conscious. I look forward to a much, much fairer world than we live in today.
Then 10 years from now, Australia will have embraced us and learned from us. We have much to share. And that Australia is a mature and sophisticated nation where kindness and respect towards us all are valued and reflect who we are as a nation.
So I want everyone to imagine a world with equality, a world with kindness, a world full of fairness. Where would we be? Where would the kids in this world be?
So, let's get after the AIME, let's go help them, and let's go out there and change this world.
Siaka, thank you for joining us for the 60-second challenge. Looking forward to hanging out with you. Tell us a little bit about your story and the hooded sweatshirt you're wearing and the change you want to see in the next 10 years in Uganda.
Thank you, Jack. My story starts from a small ghetto in Uganda, growing up from a poor background, not sure what you're going to be, not sure what the world is going to look like next, what opportunity lies, not sure that certain things could be achieved by someone like me. But fast forward, 2015, my auntie was at Stanford, met you, you told her about the AIME story, or you told the group that was in the executive course that year about the AIME story. I don't know if you gifted her this hoodie or whatever happened. She
politely stole it.
So she came back to Uganda with this hoodie and told me about your story. And she was like, you know what? It was this amazing young man and doing she said you are the weirdest young man she had met. She's like, it was this weird young man I met doing amazing things in Australia with indigenous kids and what. And she was like, he reminded me so much of you. I was like, he reminded you so much of Timmy.
Well, a few years later, you were applying. We launched AIME globally, and we're going to share COGS to introduce the story today. And we set up 10 golden tickets for 10 young people around the world, university students or young people, to have the chance to take the model. And you applied and you got through. I was in New York. We did an interview with you, with the final stage interview, and you were wearing that hoodie and you told me that story. And I was like, I've got to give this to you. And it's turned out that you are as weird as me, because you think it can be done and you're getting out and you've been working your butt off over the last 3-4 years with us to bring it to life. So I wanted to thank you for everything you've done, and let's do the 60-second challenge. Let's start the clock now.
Thank you, Jack. I'm ready.
What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Perfect happiness. I think it's when I feel free.
Okay. What is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear is my brain stopping, not being able to think.
On what occasion are you out of your comfort zone?
When I've been told that I can't, that's when I'm out of my comfort zone.
What would you like to see humans do more of?
I'd like to see humans imagine more and believe more.
Which living person do you most admire?
There are a number, but I think I admire my boss so much, GMB.
What is your greatest extravagance?
My extravagance would be painting on my hair.
Yeah, I was going to say your hairstyles.
Hey, I just wanted to say, you give me. I hope everybody, and Siaka, you've just given me so much of me over the years, and I'm just really excited to see what we're going to do together in this world of imagination. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Hope.
It's a pleasure. Hey, I'm just going to check. Have we got Xavier there? Xavier, are you doing production? Xavier?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Xavier. Hey, what's the next video?
Hoodie Day video.
Oh, sweet. Are we doing, and then are we going to do cogs after that?
Yeah. We've got a speech from Akiva Sharon.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for joining. Let's throw to that video then. Good to have you.
Okay, let's keep this show moving. We're now going to catch up with Akiva Sharon, who was one of our first presidents of Imagination, who gave their speech on the world that they saw ahead and what they would do if they were the president of Imagination.
Knock knock. Hello, my name is Akiva Sharon from Tabco High School, Uganda. I'm 14 years and this is me imagining what may be possible. I want to see a future where education is free, because today poor stay poor because they don't have access to education. I want to see a world where everyone is equal and has equal opportunity to success, no matter race, white or black, no matter gender, male or female. I want to see a world where there is responsible consumption. Many people disrespect the life in water, forgetting that there is also life below the water. They dispose human waste in their water bodies. I will use dance, poetry, rap to inspire the young, the adults, those who are listening to me and who are seeing me. Work hard and fight with me to see and reach in this better world. Ciao, ciao.
Akiva Sharon, I'm absolutely up for that challenge with you and up for working hard and fighting with you to make this fairer world. Billy Reynolds, one of the artists on this year's Hoodie, our 10th ever Hoodie. Billy, tell us about your artwork and what a little bit about your story and how it feels to have your artwork on this year's Hoodie.
So my name's Billy Reynolds. I'm in year 12 at Marsland College in Randwick in Sydney. My background, my family's from Stolen Generation from Ewan Country. And so my artwork's called Coexistence, and one of the boys, Cam Northey from around the area, just contacted me and asked me if I had a couple artworks that I could send to him. So I sent him a few and he got back to me just saying like, oh, it's going to be on the AIME hoodie. So I was just like mind blown when I heard about that, because I've wanted to happen for a while, ever since I've been in the program. So that was really cool hearing that.
Billy, it's a pleasure to give you the stage, and that's what we're trying to do with the Hoodie each year. So yeah, stoked to have you as a part of it and stoked to have you representing Australia on this really special one, which has got a youngster who we work with in the United States and then a youngster on the stomach down here from the continent of Africa, from Nigeria. So thanks for connecting the world with us.
Yeah, it's all good. Happy to be here.
Catch you soon. Keep painting. We've got Cogs, which is going to get us into our panel now, as we're going to catch up with our guests on the other side. Thanks for tuning in for our final Imagination TV episode of the first season, as we've done 98 straight. And then we're going to have a break and come back and launch Imagination University on the 1st of October. And we've got our cool panel on the other side. So stay tuned. We launched COGS 4 years ago to go global and share this model around the world. And on the other side of COGS was Siaka and a few of our other friends that have now taken the program into South Africa, Uganda, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and the United States as well. And we're stoked to share this short film that we made with a couple of friends of ours in France. Okay, let's jump into our panel right now to talk about imagination broadly, talk about changing the world, talk about what we're going to do together. John, it's great for us to be able to have you with us today. And we just solved the internet challenges to 10 seconds before right now. Tell us a little bit about how you heard about the work that we're doing and what you've brought to it. And then if you can, really quickly, talk a little bit about what imagination means to you.
Yeah, well, I actually heard about AIME and the work that you're doing, Jack, through my very
We might swing back because the audio is going bonkers. Zave or Penny, can you help out with?
Who works with you and is a great mentor of mine and been a great.
Yeah, I think we're getting some awesome robot sounds coming through, John. So we'll see if we can swing you back in on the phone line to have a quick chat as we roll through. Jan, tell us what does imagination mean to you, and why have you dedicated your life to the work you've been doing?
Hi, Jack. Hi, everybody. Awesome to be on this show. Happy 10th year, Hoodie 10 years. I'm waiting in anticipation for my hoodie. I have thought two things about this. I've always thought that we're entering the age of imagination now, and that this is the time when we're going to need imagination more than ever. And I love the COGS little campaign, because that idea about if we want to change the world, we've got to change the way it works, is going to be an exercise in imagination. And one of the things I think that in Australia we don't understand is that Indigenous ways of knowing and being and learning are deeply, deeply, deeply steeped in imagination. And so our need to embrace those is more important than it's ever been in our time in Australia.
Letitia, what's imagination mean to you? Can you define imagination for me?
To me, I think it means thinking outside the box and thinking, if you're trying to imagine something, I guess thinking of something that doesn't already exist, or thinking of a different way to do it.
Akiva, what do you think? Thanks for joining us on the show today. What's imagination? Tell us a little bit about your work and what you think imagination is.
So, I mean, having the privilege of working with, top global innovators and big Fortune 500s, what's been interesting is the ability to often partnerships and collaboration with very different thinkers, diverse thinkers, kind of opens our minds up to things we couldn't imagine. And technology has opened the entire world's mind up to going, so when I was watching that video as well, kind of reflecting on what Jan was saying now as well, is that ability to kind of see the opportunity in a completely different way. Sometimes you need to rip out of your entire comfort zone and the way you're working, which is what the global pandemic has done. So there's no greater time now, as a colleague of mine from Moody's Analytics said recently. He said, there's no greater time to experiment and do things that were unimaginable before.
Oh yeah, we're forced to, aren't we? And suddenly it goes from this optional, nice fun thing that people play with who are weird, to borrow Siaka's wonderful quote from his auntie, to then suddenly being critical for us to do that. John, I'm not sure if we've got you on the phone line, but just checking if you might be there.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, got you, great. Hey, tell us, what's imagination mean to you?
Imagination means to me, I guess, your wildest dreams, the things that you go to sleep at night and you dream happy things and great things that, positive change or something that you want to happen. And that's really imagination to me, creativity. And yeah.
What happens
all
if
exciting stuff.
What happens if someone puts a roadblock in front of you or says, no, John, you can't do that?
I get motivated to do it. I don't know. That's kind of my biggest driver. If you want to fuel my fire, tell me I can't do something.
Akiva, have you found that with some of the leaders that you've been working with? Is there a thematic with a bit of rebelliousness or maybe not accepting the status quo from time to time?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a term. I call them the radical outsiders. You know, it's those folks have the ability to kind of challenge the entire system, and just like John, it's those people who have that tenacity, just to go. Everyone else said it couldn't be done, but hey, stuff that, we're going to do it, right? And
Letitia, for you, just looking at moving through a system, you opened up saying you want to see things change in the next 10 years' time. How serious are you about wanting to see that happen, and what role do you see yourself playing in that?
I'm pretty serious, because I feel like things like this should have happened a while ago. I'd love to help in any way I can, but I feel like this is also a problem that needs everyone to get in and do something about it.
Yeah, I feel you. Jan, how often have you been laughed at for having a big idea, and how have you been resilient enough to stay in there? Just gone, you're on mute.
I've been laughed at on a daily basis, including for being on mute at the wrong time. And but I'm with Letitia. I think actually two things have got me through, Jack. Always finding the people that are going to work with you. So Letitia, I'm also in the kind of process of helping reimagine education. Love you to be involved in that in Australia, because that's really, really, really important. But it is impossible without other people. And Jack, you know that as well. We start off as kind of lone kind of rangers, but nothing is possible without the teams and the people who do the things we can't do.
Yeah, it's fascinating when you get the opportunity to, I think Akiva, you mentioned it, build those bridges between places and people that wouldn't often connect. And that's what I'm seeing more and more, the role that we can play on planet Earth, is just to open up bridges and then let people connect, to have a call like this where you've got Siaka and Letitia and John and both yourselves, Akiva and Jan, fascinating different worlds that might not ever usually connect. And that for me is magical chemistry. That's what the world of pure imagination is about. So when I think about imagination, I think it's the beginning of all thinking. I think it's our superpower. I think it's the first principles of humankind, that we have the ability to visualize something. And therefore, once we can visualize it, we can start to work out whether we step backwards or to the side, or we move our hand, and it helps us find movement and shape when we've never done it before. So I think it might be the first thing. So if it's the first thing, it might be important for us to work out, how to train it and how to build more muscle around it. As we come to the end of what's been a huge adventure for us, 16 years to build to where we've got to now, we are going to go away for the next 3 months and work on launching Imagination University, with applications opening on the 1st of October this year. And we want to open up a university for 5-year-olds to 95-year-olds from all races, from all spaces, to come together and work out how we're going to design this world that Letitia's been talking about, that Siaka's been talking about, this fairer world where we all come into it and we all get the work done, because the responsibility shouldn't be up for the people just outside the margins to lift themselves up against a system which has been challenging, complex, and often worked systematically to keep people outside. We've got to rip the doors off their hinges, and we have to do that together, and we can totally do that with imagination and with a force multiplier of organizations around the world that are starting to gather around this concept. We can come together, build a body of work in first principles to have this wonderful imagination library for all of humanity, give the stage for people thought of as a problem to have the stage to show that they can be the solution when they're given that stage. And we'll turbocharge change like the world hasn't seen yet. That's what we're going to try and do together in the next decade plus. And then we might have a breather and see if someone else wants to step up and do some other things as well. Jan, what's the most inspiring thing that you've learned in your life, the highest level of thinking you've been able to access, the most important piece of wisdom that's been passed on to you?
What a great question. I think so much. I mean, I think one of the things that I have learned, Jack, is actually not from mentors, but from young people. And I've been so privileged to work with so many thousands of young people, and really their ability to say it's possible, which is the core to imagination. The core to imagination is it is possible, and believing it's possible has been the thing that's driven me. So I have relentless optimism and also gratitude to all the young people that I've been working with for so long, including when you were young, Jack.
I'm 35. I'm still
Back in the
kind of
day.
young.
You're a young thing.
John, you broke a record for us in the last week or so, which was you came in and your organisation made the biggest order of hoodies that we've ever had, $100,000 worth of hoodies, give or take, which was a huge statement for us. We all just felt so inspired and wanted to just work even harder and go, okay, let's go. What made you want to go big and do that?
To be fair, it's to lead my team and motivate them to do the best job possible for our customers in our retail businesses. But at the same time, you know, we're in these tough times, but tough times don't last. Tough people do. And I think that, you know, my team are one of the most resilient that I've ever met. And I figured while we're here trying to survive, we should also be putting our brains together to think of, you know, how can we create a fairer world? And I've never met an organisation or charity that was so aligned with my views as AIME. And so, you know, on one hand, it was a team motivator for me with our businesses at Appliances Online and Winning Appliances and so on. And on the other hand, it was to do a great thing by not only donating to a great cause, but using the 1,000+ minds in our organisation to try and imagine a fairer world for all and how we can shape that.
Yeah, and I love working with complex minds who haven't been shut down along the way, and I'm really excited to see what, you know, you and me and Dan and a few of us can cook around as we get into that designing space. And I think Dan might have mentioned you today. We'd love for you to help us head up the fundraising efforts as we try and get this university up and going, and we bring together that unlikely coalition of people that says it can be done, that it is possible. And yeah, I'd love to keep working with you because I think it's going to be real and it's going to be challenged. But as you said, I love that line, you know, that tough times make tough people. Or did I get that right or did I misquote you?
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
There we
go.
I
heard that from Jeff Fennick, actually a good friend of mine, a world champion boxer. And I guess, you know, coming up and, you know, scrapping it in Marrickville round to being a 3-time world champion boxer. And I'm not a boxing fan myself, but I met him, I think through Celebrity Apprentice or something, and we became very good mates. And he taught me a lot, and one of those lessons has stuck with me, which is that. And yeah, watch out, world. I think what you and Dan and I and all your team at AIME can do will be pretty incredible, and I couldn't be happier to be involved. I'll help however I can.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, pumped to work with you. It's a great way to be able to wrap up this first sprint and see what we can do on the other side. Akiva, what's the highest order of thinking, which is what I think universities are defined as, places of higher learning, the closest you've got to the most special piece of wisdom in your life, and where did it come from?
So that's a great question. I'd say that the highest order of thinking has been those mentors around me who have really challenged my fundamental beliefs. So like your whole thing around reimagining, where I had an imagination of what I thought the world could be or what I thought my role is. And having one or two key people who understood me well, who were able to fundamentally challenge everything I thought was possible to say so much more is possible. And I think when one's pushed to that level, it's extremely uncomfortable. And to quote Jeffrey Immel from General Electric, you know, now's the best time ever to be very comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know, become comfortable with painful, tough, hard decisions, because that's what drives unimaginable, amazing opportunities.
Yeah, and the weird lie we tell ourselves is that the Earth isn't spinning really quickly, that the speed of light's not 299, I think it's 299,000 kilometers a second is the speed of light. Skin cells completely replace themselves in 28 days. We are changing non-stop all the time, every single moment, and everything's changing around us. So I think if we can become more comfortable with that, I'm thinking about this idea of like flowing with it, or, you know, if the water's going to rise, let's rise with it. If there's going to be challenges coming our way, let's work out how we move with the challenges. If there's going to be fires again in Australia, let's work out how to harness that energy and move with the fires. Let's work out how to move with nature and move with the things that are there. And I think we'll be able to design in much more fascinating ways if we do that. Letitia, what's the top lesson you've learned in your life so far, the best piece of wisdom, and where does that come from?
Well, so far, I think along with the answer before is definitely from younger people, even younger than me. Just like, it's crazy how I feel like young people view the world so much more different than what I would have viewed when I was their age, you know. They truly like have the greatest imagination, and not only do they have that, but they have the drive and the belief that it would happen. Because I feel like you can have imagination, but you also have to have the drive to, you know, make it happen.
Yeah, it's crazy how much we have to then unlearn as grown-ups, like to be able to go, hey, you can use your imagination. It's a muscle there. Like there's Hook, that story where Pan gets old and then he has to then go back and relearn how to be Peter Pan again. You know, you look at babies when we're born, you just have this turbocharged, full throttle, completely and utterly big fuel tank of imagination. You just can go, oh, okay, I'm in the goop and I can do anything. And then we get taught we can't, and a lot of rules and a lot of restrictions around our stories. And I think busting that open and I reckon potentially the meaning of life, or close to it, is to have moments when you feel free in your mind. And if we can do that and do part of that together, that'll be a really special gift for the world. Jan, Akiva, John, thank you so much for joining us on the panel today. It's been great hanging out with you all.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us, and congratulations, Jack.
Yeah, well done.
Incredible.
Yeah, congrats, Jack. Great to meet the rest of you.
Amazing.
Thanks, Letitia, for hosting today. What did you learn from today?
I learned that, you know, it's not just because I've only worked with AIME in Australia. I didn't even know that it was like this worldwide. So it was good to like meet and talk with a lot of people who are from all different corners of the world.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping. Part of the plan design, like in my head, was thinking about the challenges that we have as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia, and how sometimes you can feel really small and you can feel like, you know, you've got this tiny little world that you get to play within. And what I wanted to be able to do was break that a bit and say, hey, we can play on a global stage, and we can play on a global stage with knowledge. And yeah, we'll absolutely be Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, and we'll be really proud of our heritage, but we can be complex and look at this network we can build. We can build the next Facebook, and maybe that's what this thing becomes. So I think that's been really cool. When I went over to New York 4 years ago, I was like sending 500 emails a day and getting rejected, like, and trying to get a meeting with like the receptionist of Starbucks somewhere just so someone would meet me. And that's where you've got to, I think, by starting that way and then meeting Siaka and Siaka going, yeah, I'm going to go for this, you know, and then having other people like Vutali and different people join us along the way. It's so corny, but it's one by one that you start to build those bridges and get it done. And I think today's conversation has been another one of those. So thank you for joining us. And yeah, we'll follow up and connect you with Jan if you want to do some work with her as well. And then
please, Letitia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps us up. 98 episodes. We've got ready to launch a university, which we're going to do. We kickstarted Imagine the feature film, which we co-wrote together as part of the show with a live Google Doc. That's now in production. We've got a full throttle team of puppets, including Hope, who's just had an amazing time on the show.
I have had a fantastic time hanging out with you all. And Jack's also learnt that he has to speak around the back to be able to talk into the microphone.
So we've had lots of fun, we've invented lots of stuff, and we're only beginning. And I think it's been an incredible time of resilience and complexity. And we've really loved everybody in the network around that's been supporting us and watching the show and saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. And if you can do one thing tomorrow, the next day, and for the rest of your life, it's when someone comes to you with an idea, don't shut it down. Say, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. And that's what this world's going to try and do together as we build this world of imagination. We're going to wrap up today with an anthem that we created with some kids from around the world a few years ago. And it's along to a pretty special song. So we'll see you all in a few months' time when we launch a university and help change the planet.
In a little tent, oh, and just like but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, brother, help me please.